Hello and welcome, all friends and devotees of yoga and Buddhism. Today is June the 23rd, 2019, and it's Sunday today. I'm just going to proceed with my discoveries of some very wonderful treasures of wisdom, which I hope to share with you folks. These resources of wisdom are very, very, very different from anything you've seen. And I discovered them a couple of months ago in my research, and I chose to publish them first before I do further work on them. The source of these resources of wisdom is still very much alive. It's very elderly, Master Singyung. Master Singyung was born in 1927. So that means he's in his 90s now. And he is the father of Fo Guangsheng and the father of Buddhism in Africa. He brought Buddhism to Africa through the giant foundation in Johannesburg, South Africa, the Nanhua Foundation, which also established the African Buddhist Seminary, which is currently teaching Africans a lot of Buddhist wisdom and graduating a lot of students in that institution of higher learning, and really disseminating lots and lots of teachings and lots of Chinese studies, and a lot of work is going on there in South Africa. Also in the United States, I've been to the University of the West, which was established by Master Singyung in Rosemead, California. I've also been to the Silai Temple and the Silai Foundation in Hacienda, California. When I was in California, I was in Los Angeles for well over 2 years, nearly 3 years. I was very privileged to visit all these great works of Master Singyung. So Master Singyung is an oracle. He's a very giant, he's a saint and a sage. He's both. This is a very good way to describe the great man. He's both a saint and a sage. That's an extraordinarily holy man. He's an extraordinary, exceptionally holy man and an exceptionally wise man. It's both. So he's a saint and a sage. These are the collections which I found, which I discovered in Master Singyung's library. Of course, just like the Dalai Lama, and a giant personality in Buddhism. Dalai Lama, of course, they've both authored over 100 books. So they are very giant authorities. Dalai Lama has written well over 100 books. Master Singyung, well over 100 books in Chinese. And his scholars translate them into English. The scholars who are very fluent in English. I know there was one of them in California who actually holds a doctorate from Yale University. Yale University, that's a limit in the world. I mean, you couldn't do better than Yale Universities at the level of Oxford, Harvard, Stanford, all these institutions. They are giant institutions with some of the greatest authorities in the world in these areas of academic learning and discipline. So, these scholars have been there and they've studied there at the highest level of university ranking, which is doctoral level. So here is some wisdom. Let me share this with you and have you, highlight. I need you to follow these teachings and try to highlight points of wisdom for later reflection and meditation. Life is like running a marathon. Life is like running a marathon. Life is like running a marathon, Master Singyung writes. If we want to succeed, we must persevere till the end. If we want to succeed, we must persevere till the end. As Humble Table Wise Fair explains, self-learning is the force behind success. Self-discipline is the condition for success. Self-confidence is the method for success, and self-respect is the key for success. Success is not really difficult as long as we have these various qualifications, courses, and conditions, the following are some further guidelines for success. The following are some further guidelines for success. 1. We can be assured of a place in society when we have special skills. According to the saying, being in possession of great financial wealth is not as good as having a special skill. In order to establish ourselves in today's society, we must have special skills and knowledge. For instance, we need to be competent in either computers, accounting, making plans, writing, or driving. Modern society focuses on professionalism and specialization, so it will be difficult for us to find our place if we do not possess some expertise or special knowledge. Therefore, in order to survive in the world and make a living, it is imperative for us to learn several specialized skills. 2. I hope you're writing, students. I hope you are, keeping records, of points. I just need you to be consistent in keeping concise, little concise notes here. We can be assured of forging ahead when we have hope. People survive on hope because with hope there is a future, and with hope we will be able to realize our goals. Hikers, toiling and sweating, climb over ridges and mountains. They have no fear of hardship because in their hearts is the hope of reaching the summit. On our journey of life, the path may be long and rugged, and yet with hope, we are not afraid no matter how long the road may be. Hence, when we have hope, we can bravely forge ahead in whatever we do. 3. The third golden key. We can be assured of steady progress when we have diligence. We all want a better tomorrow and a brighter future. In order to do so, we must keep improving without slacking off. The ancients asserted diligence can make up for slowness. In everything we do, as long as we work hard in applying ourselves, we will make steady progress, be it great or small. A never-ceasing trickle of water can cut through rock, and the constant friction of twigs can start a fire. When we are always diligent in what we do, we can keep improving and success will be ours. 4. We can be assured of prime opportunities when we have foresight. Handling worldly matters is like playing a game of chess. It is people with foresight who will win. Far-sighted people are more likely to embrace good opportunities early on and achieve success. On the contrary, people who just pay attention to what is close at hand are shallow in their views. They can only see themselves and not the general public. They can only see their families and not the entire community. They can only see the small profits in front of their eyes, but not the broad picture into the future. People like that confine themselves to small frames and are naturally limited in what they can achieve. Now we are going to summarize, as Buddha always does. Buddha summarized his whole sutras in the Dhammapada Sutra, which I have authored. I have actually translated the Dhammapada Sutra into Asan language, and that probably was the first time in history Buddhist literature was translated into African language. My Dhammapada Sutra is published online. It's in Chinese, English, and Asan language, which is African language. You can just Google it, Dhammapada by Christopher Oseldi and Aburime, and it will show you that Dhammapada online. That was the Buddha's summary in 423 anthological verses. he summarized the entire wisdom of Buddhism in these 423, anthology verses. Okay. So Master Singyun did exactly that in these fantastic treasure collections, which I discovered recently. It's really fantastic. He does summarize everything in a nutshell. Why do we need to summarize? I tell you real quick here. The reason why you need summary is sometimes people may not have time to go through the whole thing. I'm running to work. I only have 5 minutes to quickly meditate. So I really don't have time to go through everything. So I just go straight to the summary. I pounce on the summary, highlighted summary, quickly go through it, do a brief meditation, and run off to work. That's it. Japan, China, these places where Buddhism developed, these are highly busy places. Japan, everybody knows what Japan is. China, Japan is, they have all these great electronic achievements. JVC, Panasonic, Hitachi, talk about cars, Honda, Toyota, Nissan, So you know what I'm talking about. That's Japan. So you can imagine the business level, all these universal automobiles, electronics, they're the ones doing all these great works. And they are Buddhists. Most of them are Buddhists. So you can imagine these guys will sit down for 5-10 minutes. They don't have too much time. They are entrepreneurs. Just like Master Singyun cited the other day, remember Konosuke Matsushita. Konosuke Matsushita is referred to as the god of management. Was one of the most successful managers in history. He was so famous, he was referred to as God of Management. Just Google it, you see it there. It was Konosuke Matsushita. He was the father of a Panasonic. All Panasonic Electronics. And you all know what Panasonic Electronics is. So successful was Konosuke Matsushita that he was referred to as the God of Management. So successful, what a brilliant manager. And what a brilliant business Panasonic was. Okay, so we are summarizing quickly for you to highlight. We all admire success, but it does not fall from the sky. It does not fall from the sky, for there must be proper causes and conditions. There is a way to success, so we should be mindful. We should be mindful of these guidelines. It's already told you what to do to succeed. It's up to you to reflect and meditate on these principles. Okay? If you're rushing, you go to the highlighted part, which is a summary. That's why we have a summary. Anytime you're rushing, you only have 5 minutes or 10 minutes to sit, then you sit over the summaries. And then when you're coming back from work, you have an hour or half hour to sit, then you sit over the whole thing and reflect and meditate. But you must always reflect and meditate if you're an intelligent human being. This is the right that the Buddha suggests in Buddhism to all the followers. Sit in meditation. Learn to sit for 10 minutes. Learn to sit for 15 minutes. Learn to sit for 15 minutes. Learn to sit for half hour, guys. Learn to sit down in proper meditation. Not just sit down worrying. I mean, people sit down, but they sit down dying. They sit dying. They sit down sick. They sit down worrying about life. That's not what the Buddha is talking about. Positive sitting, not negative sitting. I already distinguished. There are two kinds of sitting. People sit down troubled, sit down dead, half dead, worrying and bugging themselves about. No, that's not what Buddha is talking about. Positive sitting, constructive sitting, not destructive sitting, negative sitting, positive, constructive, sitting constructively, sitting the Buddha way, sitting to reflect and meditate on this lesson that you just heard. Constructive, brushing up your life, doing homework, correcting mathematical wrongs, right? 2 plus 2 is 4, not 22. Making those corrections. So that's what I'm constructive, looking at yourself, judging yourself fast, washing dirty clothes, polishing clothes, refining things, replacing light bulbs in your house that blew out. That's, what I'm saying? Maintenance, painting your walls when your walls, you're renovating your house, replacing furniture. That's what you understand now? Maintenance. We have to maintain ourselves, though. We have to maintain our minds, the thinking process, okay, and our work towards success. You have to maintain the path line. That's what Buddha is suggesting. That's the solution for life's problems of suffering. He says you should sit in constructive meditation, a meditation that is going to take you forward, make you better, advance you. Okay? Meditation for advancement. Okay, so these are the disciplines that the Buddha is instructing, and you need to practice that for your own well-being. Healthful meditation. Okay? Namo Amitofo.